The Mysterious Box 1. Afternoon in the laboratory of Gru, Dr. Nefario is organizing equipment on the lab table. On a high shelf sits a small metal box covered with warning symbols. After finishing his work, Dr. Nefario leaves the laboratory. As soon as the door closes, a group of minions quietly sneaks inside. Bob notices the mysterious box on the shelf and points at it curiously. Kevin climbs onto a chair and then onto the table to bring the box down. The minions gather around it. They shake it gently. A strange rattling sound comes from inside. Stuart tries to open the lid, but the box is locked. Kevin notices a small button on the side and presses it. Click. The box suddenly pops open. A large spring jumps out, making all the minions jump back in surprise. They laugh when they realize it's just a prank box. But when they look inside again, there is another button. Bob presses it curiously. Suddenly, bubbles begin floating out of the box. Soap bubbles fill the laboratory. The minions jump around, popping the bubbles and laughing. But Stuart accidentally presses a large red button. The box begins shaking violently. The minions look at each other nervously. Suddenly, the box opens again and launches a long mechanical arm. The arm swings wildly around the room, knocking over test tubes and lifting one minion into the air. The minions run everywhere in panic. The box continues releasing more surprises. Balloons pop out, a loud horn blares, and confetti shoots everywhere. The laboratory quickly turns into complete chaos. Just then, Gru walks into the room. He stops and stares at the scene. Minions running everywhere, balloons floating near the ceiling, confetti falling all over the lab. Gru looks down at the shaking box on the floor. He walks over and closes the lid. Everything immediately stops. The laboratory becomes quiet again. Behind him, the minions burst into laughter. Minion color-changing machine. Inside the laboratory of Gru, Dr. Nefario has just finished building a color-changing machine. The device has a round glass chamber in the center and many flashing colored lights. A group of minions gather around, watching curiously. Dr. Nefario places a banana inside the chamber to test the machine. He presses a button. The lights flash. When the chamber opens, the banana has turned bright green. The minions stare in amazement. Satisfied, Dr. Nefario nods and leaves the laboratory to get more equipment. As soon as he leaves, the minions look at the machine excitedly. Kevin steps inside the chamber first. Stuart presses the button. The lights flash again. The door opens, and Kevin walks out with blue skin. The minions laugh even louder and begin taking turns changing colors. Green, orange, pink, and even one minion who comes out covered in rainbow colors. Soon, the entire laboratory is filled with minions of every color. But when Kevin tries pressing the button again to change back to yellow, the machine suddenly makes an error beep. The screen flickers and shuts off. The minions look at each other. They are all still stuck with their strange colors. Panic begins. One minion runs to the bathroom and grabs soap and a brush, trying to scrub the color off his body. Nothing changes. Another minion jumps into a water tub, rubbing and washing himself. The color stays the same. At that moment, Dr. Nefario returns. He looks at the scene and immediately understands what happened. He begins repairing the control panel while Gru helps reconnect wires and adjust the machine parts. After a moment, the machine starts working again. Dr. Nefario signals the minions to step into the chamber one by one. Each minion enters and comes out again, returning to their normal yellow color. The group sighs with relief. One morning in the yard of Gru, one minion looks at himself in the mirror, smooths his tiny hair strands, and suddenly gets an idea. He quickly places the chair in the middle of the yard and hangs up a handwritten sign. The other minions curiously line up. The first customer is Kevin. He confidently sits in the chair. Kevin's hair turns into messy, sharp spikes, sticking out in all directions. Kevin looks into the mirror, pauses in surprise, then bursts into laughter. The next customer is Stuart. The minion barber uses a hairdryer, gel, and a comb. Within minutes, Stuart ends up with a tall, tower-like hairstyle. When the wind blows, the hair wobbles like an antenna. All the minions laugh loudly. Bob is the next customer. The barber accidentally drops a bottle of hair dye. Blue, red, and yellow colors spill onto Bob's head. After wiping it off, Bob ends up with a bright rainbow hairstyle. Bob looks in the mirror and jumps happily because he loves it. News about the salon spreads. A few neighbors curiously come over to try it. The Minion barber begins creating even more creative styles. One person gets spring-shaped curly hair. Another gets a star-shaped haircut. Someone else gets hair styled like a crown. The salon becomes extremely lively. Hair flies everywhere, the hairdryer blows loudly, and scissors keep snipping non-stop. Just then, Gru walks in. He looks around at the room filled with falling hair and bizarre hairstyles. The minions quickly pull Gru into the barber chair. The Minion barber immediately starts cutting. A few minutes later, Gru looks into the mirror. His hair has been styled into small crown-like spikes. Gru stands still for a few seconds. The minions nervously wait for his reaction. Gru looks at himself in the mirror, then slightly smirks. The entire salon bursts into cheerful laughter.
The ice cream chase. One hot afternoon in front of the house of Gru, a group of minions are lying around in the yard, trying to escape the heat. Stuart fans himself with a newspaper, while Bob hugs a melting block of ice. Suddenly, the familiar jingle of an ice cream truck rings in the distance. The minions instantly lift their heads. At the end of the street, a colorful ice cream truck drives by. The side window is open, revealing rows of bright, delicious ice cream bars. The minions' eyes light up. The truck passes by and keeps driving away. The minions freeze for 1 second, then they all sprint after it. The chase begins. Kevin leads the group as they run down the sidewalk. One minion slips on a banana peel and falls, but quickly jumps up and keeps running. Stuart jumps onto an abandoned bicycle by the street and pedals furiously. The ice cream truck turns into a crowded street. The minions weave through people. One minion leaps over a fruit stand. Another accidentally ends up with a decorative ice cream container stuck on his head. Bob jumps onto a child's scooter and rolls down a hill. The ice cream truck continues past a park. The minions race across the grass, jump over benches, and slide down a playground slide. Stuart pedals the bicycle too fast and launches straight through a sandbox. Kevin spots the ice cream truck slowing down near an intersection. The minions speed up, but the traffic light turns red and the truck drives through the crossing. The minions are forced to stop in the middle of the road. One minion accidentally crashes into a traffic pole. As soon as the light turns green, they continue the chase. They climb onto a moving delivery truck carrying cardboard boxes. From the truck, the minions jump down onto the back of the ice cream truck. The back door swings open. Inside is a freezer full of ice cream. The minions cheer with joy, grabbing ice cream, eating it, and throwing it into the air. Just then, the ice cream truck suddenly stops. The front door opens. Stepping out is Gru. He walks to the back and looks inside the truck. The minions sit in the middle of the ice cream freezer, their faces covered in colorful melted ice cream. Gru stands silently for a few seconds. A scoop of ice cream drops, splat onto his shoe. Gru sighs. Behind him, Bob accidentally knocks over a giant tub of ice cream onto the truck floor. The Speed Booster Machine. Inside the laboratory of Jiru, Dr. Nefario is testing a new invention, a speed booster machine. The device looks like a ray gun, connected to a control panel filled with buttons and gauges. Several curious minions gather around to watch. Dr. Nefario places a stopwatch on the table and fires the device at a small testing robot. Buzz! The robot suddenly runs many times faster, zooming around the table before stopping. The minions clap excitedly. After writing down some notes, Dr. Nefario leaves the laboratory. Immediately, Stuart grabs the speed ray. He aims it at Kevin. Easy up! Kevin instantly starts running as fast as lightning around the room. He dashes past tables, jumps over chairs, and slides around machines. But Kevin cannot stop. Kevin runs straight through the lab door. The other minions race after him. They burst out onto the street. Pedestrians jump in shock as yellow blurs rush past them. One minion runs through a fruit stand, sending apples and oranges flying into the air. Another minion zips past a street food cart, causing it to tilt sideways. Kevin runs through a banana stand, spilling bananas all over the road. Meanwhile, Gru and Dr. Nefario chase behind them. They try to clean up the mess. lifting fallen carts, picking up fruit, and helping startled vendors stand up again. The Minions keep racing around the neighborhood like spinning yellow tornadoes. Finally, Dr. Nefario grabs the speed ray and adjusts the control settings. He aims at Kevin. This time, the beam removes the speed effect. Kevin suddenly stops. But because he was moving so fast, he slides a long distance across the street. The other Minions are also hit by the ray and gradually stop. They end up lying all over the street, panting and dizzy. Gru looks around at the scene. Fruit scattered everywhere, street carts leaning sideways, and a few Minions spinning in circles from dizziness. Gru crosses his arms and looks at Dr. Nefario. Dr. Nefario looks at the machine and gives an awkward smile. The two of them begin helping clean up the chaotic street.